Are you a strong, independent woman who's passionate about her career? Then this podcast is perfect for you. Based on her book, The Career Woman's Secret Playbook, career coach Dr. Dawn Hamby shares the kind of insider secrets you can only know if you've hired, fired, and promoted employees over the past 30 years.
Ladies, I'm on a mission to help busy women just like you create a career and life you love without sacrificing your work-life balance to get it. Come join me as we inspire and motivate each other only as women can and have lots of fun along the way.
With Dr. Dawn's tools, strategies, and action steps, you can unleash your personal and professional power in a whole new way. Here's today's episode.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another empowering episode of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn, and since we're already a few weeks into the new year, I thought that today's topic should be all about, you guessed it, New Year's resolutions. Why is it that oftentimes they just don't work? We get so excited at the beginning of the new year, and then before you know it, all of our motivation just kind of leaves us. And what do we do next? Because we know we would not have set these goals if they weren't important to us. Now, let me also say this. If you're the kind of person who typically does not like New Year's resolutions, because like most of us, you know, this tendency, like I just said, is that it's hard to really make them work. I'm hoping that today's episode is going to give you more motivation, because here's the deal. You may be one of those folks who knows that New Year's resolutions are a struggle. So you probably are like, oh, I'm not going to make any. They're just useless. And to, some extent, I can see where you're going with that, because that's what I'm talking about. What can we do about it? But the idea itself is wonderful. Think about it. Think about what a new year represents. It's a fresh start. It's an opportunity to look back on the previous year to see, how far you came. Maybe to think about some amazing experiences you had, both at work and in your personal life. You might have hit some major milestones, or you may have been through a lot. My family this year has been through a lot. We just recently lost my mom. It's been so hard on all of us. And, it was an opportunity to kind of look back for us and see how proud we were that she fought for so many years against Alzheimer's and trying to recover from a stroke. She is the epitome of what strength looks like and has been a great role model for me. Well, when I think about 2024 being the best year yet, can I say it's the best year when we recently literally just lost my mother? Well, I can flip that script and think, you know what? She spent the past 4.5 years just living her life and trying so hard to get healthier. And although she lost that battle, the impact she's made on all of our lives in my family and through her friendships has been amazing. She not only can motivate me to remember how precious time is, but I can think about her strength and use that to power through the grief process and to lean into the support of my family and friends. In fact, you guys, this year, I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but I'm just motivated to do it. It's the first podcast back from working through this grief with my family, and we've decided, instead of the traditional funeral or memorial service, since my mom really didn't want that we are planning a celebration of life for her in a couple of months to not only honor her wishes, but to also give our family time to heal. Because when you think about the new year and looking forward to things, I think one of the things that's so hard, especially when you lose a loved one, is to have to go through all these plans when your grief is so raw. So I hope that inspires you to not only think about how precious time is and not to waste it, but to really appreciate the wonderful people in your life. And if you go through a loss this year, as my family has, you might think about planning a celebration of life in a couple of months instead of having to deal with everything so immediately can be so hard. So for today's episode, which is not about grief, but maybe obviously I need to talk about that at some point, but I'm trying to make sure I don't get too emotional here. So I think instead I'm going to lean into what today's topic is really all about. But I think when you go through loss, it's easy to tie that in to be able to help our listeners and our audience kind of learn from my experience and what I'm going through. And so for me, I want any goal I plan this year, I want to crush it. I want to achieve it. I want to do that in honor of my mom, but also because I know she would want me to do that. Because when you plan a goal, that's what resolutions are all about. You wouldn't even be thinking about it if it wasn't important to you. And so many times I think through grief and through losing someone important, I always say time is our most precious commodity, and I have a lot of videos I can put right here about time management. But I think in the back of my mind, especially over these past 4.5 years, it's been especially important because I've seen firsthand how quickly it can go, how an illness can change everything. So I hope you believe in today's episode and the title for today's episode as much as I do. Today is episode 40, and I am calling our episode, New Year, New You, How to Crush Your Resolutions Once and for All. Okay? We're going to do that, you guys. We're going to treat 2024 as the precious commodity it is, and we're going to consider every single day a true gift, and we're going to think about why is it that sometimes we have the same resolutions each and every year. We want this to be the year that you accomplish them. In fact, you guys, I've got other episodes about New Year's resolutions and how to do those right, how to really think about it as dream setting. And remember, we want to follow our dreams, but dreams oftentimes are considered to be sort of like a goal, but with no action steps in place to make them come true. And that's how come it can be a pipe dream. And I don't want that for you. I don't want it to be a pipe dream. I want it to be a dream you can actually make true, and you will feel so fulfilled. You'll feel so proud of yourself because you set a goal and you accomplished it. So now that brings me to a couple of other videos I want to include. If you're watching us on YouTube, you've got access to that right away because you can kind of click on the link as you see it pop up on the screen. But if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast player, then be sure to check out the show notes. That's where I include all the links to the videos I talk about. Because you guys, on my YouTube channel, I have over 100 videos already. So if I can think of other things that are going to help you, I'm definitely going to do that on our podcast. And by the way, if you're new, I am so excited that you're not only here to listen to today's important message, but I want to encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Literally just click that plus button in the top right hand corner, and there you go. You're following the podcast. And what's awesome about that is when you open up your podcast app, it automatically loads the new episodes for you so you don't miss out. On YouTube, it's also super easy. Just see that button that says subscribe, click on that, and same thing. Every time you open up YouTube, you're going to see the latest episodes. In other words, the latest videos. But here's what I want to talk about. I actually put together a free challenge each and every year. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter if you find our video or podcast episode years from now. You can always go to our website at drdonshoptalk.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel at Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. It's DRDAWN. Shop Talk is all one word. On YouTube, I'll go ahead and put that on the screen for you. But the reason I'm saying that is because I believe in giving back. I never charge a fee for our New Year to a New You challenge. It's 5 days of challenges. You get a cheat sheet and a checklist. And the reason I say it's never too late to check that out is because on our website, you can find it and we will immediately send you the checklist and cheat sheet. And you guys, this was our 4th year to run the challenges. So each and every year we have one challenge each day of the week. We have live streams. You can check all that out on our YouTube channel. I'll be sure to put the playlist right here on YouTube for you and in the show notes on our podcast. But I want to tell you that because focusing on one small task each and every day is a wonderful way to get the year started off on the right foot. So I don't want you to miss out on all these other challenges. We do 5 a year. So you've got access to 15 to 20 challenges right there on our YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. All right, are you ready to get to some New Year's resolutions? Let's do that. In fact, if you're watching us on YouTube, you might notice a different backdrop. This is my parents' office that I am having the privilege of filming from. And in fact, my family is so sweet. They're trying to be quiet right now during these next 30 minutes or so. I've got the best family ever, okay? Thinking of you, Mom, love you. All right, you guys, are you ready to get started with some New Year's resolutions? Let's do it. Let's talk about the reasons why. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break this down for you into the reasons why New Year's resolutions don't work, and then we're going to quickly talk about what you can do about it. So let's start with the reasons. All right, reason number 1. Unrealistic expectations. You guys, this is the first major reason why they just don't work. I mean, think about this. If you set unrealistic expectations, then you're quickly going to get unmotivated because it just doesn't come true. I mean, for example, you can't sit there and say that you want to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks or save $10,000 in a month. Well, maybe sometimes people can do that, but you guys, it would be very, very unrealistic. It would be so rare. So don't set yourself up not to be successful at the beginning of this journey. Massive goals can be overwhelming. They can lead to disappointment if you don't achieve them as quickly as you would like. All right, reason number 2, they're just too general. This is another common pitfall that your resolutions are not going to work out because they're not exciting. They're not specific enough. And, if it's real vague, like I just want to get healthier or I just want to become more successful, my goodness, it's hard to even track your progress. And if you can't do that, it's even harder to stay motivated. Now, remember, guys, for each reason I'm going to give you, in just a minute, we're going to go over strategies on how to overcome them so that you know how to tackle these and crush your goals once and for all. Okay, so bear with me. Let's go over the reasons first, and then we're going to look at how we can flip that around so you're successful. Okay, reason number 3, you've got no plan in place. See, setting the resolution or setting the goal really is just the first step. Without a well thought out plan, it kind of challenges you. Because if you don't have the know-how on how to work towards your goal effectively, it's just not going to set you up for success. So we'll be talking about how to explore those strategies, and we're going to talk about how to create a plan that will set you up for success shortly. Okay, reason number 4, and I talk about this one all the time. You're neglecting self-care. That's right. Many of us do. We sometimes put our New Year's resolutions ahead of our own well-being. We just push ourselves too hard and we neglect self-care. We end up feeling burnt out. And you know what? It's really crucial to balance that ambition with self-compassion. Okay, so really think about that. All right, our last reasons why our resolutions are just not working out, they just don't stick, is because of a lack of accountability. Accountability is the reason many times that resolutions just fall by the wayside. Sharing your goals with a trusted mentor is, if you've got access to a mentor, that's one of the reasons I love one-on-one coaching is I get to, through mentorship, stay by someone's side as they're achieving their goals, and I'm cheering them on every step of the way. But you guys, you don't have to have a professional mentor. Some of your friends can be your trusted advisor. They can be a mentor if you really admire them and they've got that time to help you each and every week. Then reach out to a friend, somebody that you admire, and be accountable to each other. It's really an awesome way to increase your chances of success. All right, you guys, so now that we've identified the common reasons why New Year's resolutions often don't work, let's talk next about what we can do about it. So here's what we're going to do. Number one, we are going to set realistic goals. So for example, going back to let's lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks kind of thing, consider setting a more achievable goal, like 1 to 2 pounds a week. That is what most health experts believe is a healthy way, for example, to lose weight and get in better shape. It doesn't shock the body. It doesn't make your body, for example, go into starvation mode where it's not going to let you lose the weight, or if it does, it's looking for any little reason to gain all the weight back. So that, for example, is a way to set a healthier weight loss goal if that's in fact your goal for this year. It's not only healthier, you guys, but it's much more sustainable. And that's what you want, regardless of the goal that you're setting. All right, number 2, be specific. Define your goals with clarity. So instead of, quote, getting healthier, specify that you want to create an exercise that you love doing for at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Say, here's the thing. If you love dance or you love walking, okay, both of those are fun activities. And when it comes to walking, that's something you can do without a gym, for example. You just put on some sneakers. If the weather's bad, grab that umbrella or bundle up if it's cold. But that's something you can definitely do. Okay? Or maybe if you're wanting to cut out processed food and sugar, don't completely eliminate it. Again, balance that with more specific, but more realistic goals. So maybe reduce your sugar by say 15 or 20%, whatever that looks like for you. For me, for example, I do have some videos on intermittent fasting and what I eat in a day, and you'll see I may, quote, limit my sugar, but each and every day I have dessert. Again, so you got to find ways to balance that. Be specific about why. Really tie into your big picture why. Okay, that's going to be part of your plan. All right, moving on to creating a plan. That's number 3. I want you to develop a step-by-step plan on how to achieve those goals. That's what I help clients do. We set up a goal, but we set it up in a way that's going to excite them. And you can do that for yourself, you guys. Break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks. That's the reason I do those challenges, because a challenge really can work. It's a small task, a small goal that you focus on each and every day. Now, here's another tip. I want you to make sure you're setting deadlines for yourself. Remember that accountability partner. We're going to talk about that in step 5, but that's another way to help you stay on track. All right, you guys, number 4, the 4th way that we're going to make sure our resolutions stick this year and we're going to crush them once and for all is we are going to prioritize that self-care. We're going to remember that our well-being is essential. So schedule regular self-care activities. It could be a 5-minute affirmation in the morning. It could be a 10-minute meditation at night to help you sort of wind down at the end of the day. It could be a 2-minute phone call with a friend that really inspires you. Whatever the case may be, find something that works for you and make sure you are prioritizing self-care each and every day. Really think about a special treat. Save up some money, for example, to afford a special spa day, or create a spa day at home to save you on your budget. Okay. In fact, financial goals might be something you're wanting to work on this year, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. So you guys, the big picture goal here is you want to find activities that recharge you, kind of reboot your energy so that you don't get burnt out. That's why self-care is so important. Okay, last but not least, that accountability partner. Remember, find accountability. In other words, share your goals and your resolutions for this year with someone you trust. Seek out that accountability partner who shares the same mindset as you do. So if it's financial goals, if it's health goals, if it's career goals, whatever the case may be, find someone who's on that same path and be careful with who you reach out to. Their fear can become your fear if you're not careful. Now, yes, it is reasonable to have someone to bounce those ideas off of. I do want you to be a risk taker, but I don't want you to bet the farm. So whoever you choose to be your accountability partner, just be careful. That's why oftentimes people do hire a professional. If they want to get healthier, they're going to hire a health and wellness coach. They might hire a personal trainer. And that's because that person's 100% interest is in you. Okay? They're not going to have the same dynamic as a family member or friend, sometimes without meaning to. Your family and friends, because they're so worried about you, they can unrealistically increase your fear. See, it's good to be a little fearful. I tell clients that all the time. You do want to make an informed decision. You don't want to just jump in with both feet without checking things out, right? That's an important part of decision making, is being informed. But you really can create that paralysis by analysis if you tap into perfectionism too much. So you don't want to get stuck there. You don't want to get stuck in sort of this kind of never-ending hamster wheel of considering things from all angles and never move forward. So whoever you choose to be your accountability partner, make sure they're not letting fear drive their decision-making, because if they're doing that, you guys, it's going to rub off on you, and that's really going to increase your negative self-talk, and it's going to decrease your chances of making those dreams come true. All right, you guys, let me put my trusted readers back on. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know I have to sometimes do that so I can make sure I'm covering all the notes and all the information I want to cover with you today. So as we wrap up, remember that New Year's resolutions can work if you approach them with intention, with realism, if you approach them with that compassion for yourself. Sometimes we're so compassionate for others and we don't give ourselves the same grace, do we? Don't be discouraged if you stumble along the way, because mistakes really can be life's greatest teachers. So don't be fearful of making that mistake. Get that lesson from it and move on. Remember, you really can make your message with the right mindset. It's all part of the journey towards growth and success. It's one of the reasons why I talk about mindset so much in the book and on this podcast. I see it as a journey of self-discovery. What is my life going to look like now that I've gone through these big changes? Whether it is losing my mom, whether it is taking a risk and starting my company, all those things can actually lead to not just that self-discovery, but also reimagining what your life can be and rediscovering what it can be. If we're lucky, we have a lot of years left. Made no secret about being in my 50s. Now my later 50s, I'm 57. So I do want to treat every day as the gift that it is, and I hope you do too. There are some amazing lessons I've learned in the 31 years I've been in my career, and I feel so privileged to share that on this podcast, on my YouTube channel, with friends and family, and definitely with my clients. And as always, I want to thank you so much. If you listened to the very end, we love you dearly. Not just that, but you are a powerhouse. And do you know why I know that? Because you listened to the entire episode. So that really means that you're interested in your own growth, in your own professional and personal development. And I could not be more proud of you and more grateful that you're part of our audience today. So as I wrap up here, you guys, I want to leave you with our motto here at Shop Talk that we really believe in. I'm going to include a different stance on it. Since I shared my personal story of us losing our mom just a few weeks ago, I want to share with you that don't feel guilty if work becomes your salvation. Many times work and staying busy can be a great way to cope with life's tragedies. So when I leave you with my motto this time, you might think, well, she talks all the time about you have a choice about making it a terrific day. The day we lost my mom was not a terrific day, of course. We are going to, if we're lucky enough to live long enough, unfortunately, with that comes pain, comes loss and suffering. But even though life has that, it's so important to learn the life lesson. I know my mom would want me to go on. She would want me to be successful in this company. She's my guardian angel watching down on me and my siblings and my family and my dad. And so when you have these horrible days, You lose a loved one, you get fired from your job, you invest in a company and it turns out to be a sham and you lose it all. You get scammed with these folks who take your identity, right? And they're so tricky on how they do that. And you might lose it all that way too. Whatever the case may be, what I truly believe in when I give you our motto is that even through life's tragedies, if you believe that you can control most days, then it creates that wonderful suit of armor. It doesn't protect you from those slings and arrows coming your way, but it does soften the blow. It allows you to believe in a power greater than yourself, whether that's God, whether that's a higher power, whether you just believe in the positivity of the universe if you ask for it, manifesting your goals and those kinds of things. I have a very strong spiritual life, and I believe a lot in the power of prayer and the power of seeking out mentors. I have coaches myself to help me on those areas that I know I want help with, because nobody can be an expert at everything. I'm an expert, yes, in some very important areas, and I've already talked about those. But I'm going to seek out my own coaching because I believe in the power of coaching and consulting. And if you've never reached out and you're a coach and you've never reached out for your own coaching, I'm a little worried about that. I have to say, right? So when I say and talk about our motto, I do believe that grief is a part of it. And you have to allow yourself to step through that process. You have to allow yourself to cry your eyes out and realize not all days are going to be great. But you really can take charge of such a huge percent of your day and of your life. That's a reason why I have a Taking Charge series. I believe so much in a series of workshops right there on my website to help people. Because I know even through life's tragedies, I do have the power to see the lesson in it. I have the power to choose who I surround myself with when I'm dealing with tragedy. I have the power to reach out towards the light or towards the darkness. Now, if you're suffering from a true disorder, I say true, I don't mean there's fake disorders, but what I mean is if you've been diagnosed with depression, let's say, then you can't simply choose to have a better day. I'm really talking about folks who don't have a clinical diagnosis, and that is most of us. Most of us are not diagnosed with something that would prevent us from choosing things. So for most of us, I do believe in the power of choice. I believe it's possible. I believe that you might need professionals to help you get there, whether it's a coach, a therapist, a trusted friend. So reach out for the support you need so that you too can make the motto I'm getting ready to share with you that we say at the end of every episode. And it's this: if you're not having a terrific day, you've got the power to make it one. All right, you guys, till next time, take care. And thank you so much for allowing me to share a personal part of my journey on today's episode. I know our episode is over, but this is just the beginning. If you're ready to take action but don't know where to start, just head over to DrDawnShopTalk.com for lots of free resources, ways to work together, and for even more. Subscribe to the Dr. Dawn Shop Talk YouTube channel. Remember, ladies, you don't have to take this journey alone. I've got you covered. Till next time.